In Chapter 4 by the Smartphone Paradox by Dr. Reed, we talk about uses and gratification theory, which is a theory that determines how media is consumed, which is the use part of it, and why it is sought after and obtained, which is the gratification factor. The part that at the very beginning was really helpful to me was him explaining the different categories of gratification, which were cognitive, hedonic, integrative, and social integrative, which he used like regular examples of how you could use those, which would be like Googling an answer, being cognitive, watching YouTube for fun, hedonic, and integrative, updating statuses for identity, and then social being scrolling. I liked how he did that how he explained that specific, like, the categories, because I feel like when I'm reading something and I'm learning about something and I'm given like a scientific definition of the word integrative, for example, I'm way less likely to understand it, so those examples really help me understand it. He talks about the motivations behind why we use our smartphones so much, and he looks into why the devices like fulfill our desires and like make us like feel fulfilled. I remember in high school I learned a little bit about this in my psychology class, and it was just like why do these like release serotonin, like what it is about our smartphones or these apps that we're using that are making us feel like so fulfilled. But they do fulfill our desires for information, social interaction, entertainment, and more. Next I wrote down, he talks about how like smartphone usage from like a neurological perspective, and talks about like the brain's reward system and like how that reinforces habitual usage patterns. This also made me think back to my high school psychology class, and we talked a lot about like positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, and like the brain's reward system and how that worked, so I felt like I could connect that back, which helped me better understand that part of the text. He also talks about like to the extent of like, is it the smartphone's fault or like the user's fault of like how much they're using it? Like, I can't blame my phone for like having 8 hours of screen time when I'm the one who's scrolling aimlessly on TikTok, or I'm the one who's constantly on FaceTime with my friends, because there's no need for all that, and it's not my phone's fault. It's obvious to me that smartphones have become like such a modern version of like satisfaction in our daily lives, and like these gratifications that are just like, they're instant gratification, but they're not like long-term fulfilling, I guess. The neurological reinforcement of these behaviors kind of make it seem that our interactions with technology are like getting deep into like our brain, which is kind of making it hard for us to like have self-regulation with our phone, to like have those like normal habits that are like an 8-hour screen time is not a normal habit, and it's absurd to me. So it's like he talks about that and those self-regulation like challenges. It kind of like raises some questions to me just about like the ethical responsibilities like we talked about in technology developers, and like we talked about in class last week, and how like they're doing this on purpose to make us stay on our phones. Like, they want us to use their app. Like, we made apps in class and we want people to use those apps, and what are we putting into those apps that are making people rely on them, that's giving them that instant gratification and making them want to continue to use that app? And it like makes me question, like, okay, when I open Snapchat, what is it about this app that makes me like it? Is that it's like instant, I can see what people are saying right now, it's only what I post only lasts 24 hours. Like, obviously not anyone can see it forever, but on Snapchat that's their whole thing, like things go away. Like, and then like on Instagram and Facebook, like they kind of take those ideas from Snapchat where it's like, oh, story post, oh, like this, we'll just post this for 24 hours, like you can post on your story and it won't stay on your feed for as long as you have this account until you delete it. Which I think they're taking those ideas because they're seeing that they're working, and the app developers, like, they want their app to succeed just as much as the last one. So I think that this chapter really, like, it made me think about the app I made a lot, and like how I could have like honestly made it better and like made people want to spend time on it and have those instant gratifications, whether it's social, cognitive, hedonic, or integrative. It's just like, what about these apps is doing that for people?